Warning, the following content may induce serious FOMO and an uncontrollable urge to travel.
Let's do this.
Hi,
Hey
guys.
Hey.
We're back.
We're back in Miami.
Yes, we are. We've been traveling it up this summer. So, oh man.
Phone's on silent, please.
This is my mom. We were gonna ask her about is it Dubai or Dubai when we say it in Farsi.
Answer
when we say it in Farsi.
That, please.
Hi, mommy. Salam. Khubi.
Hi,
How are you? فارسی حرف میزنیم میگیم دوبای چجوری pronounce میکنی؟ دوبای.
Well, that ain't what
So
you
you
said.
are all the way wrong.
فارسی میگی دوبای میگی.
Why don't you tell your mother how you pronounce it?
I was saying Dubai, and they're like, you're wrong. And I was like, that's how you say it in Farsi. And they're like, and when they saw you call, yeah, Dubai. Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
mommy.
Thank you, mommy. We know I can't pronounce anything, right? Okay, love you. I'll call you later. Okay, love you. Bye.
We're in Dubai.
We're in Dubai, guys.
Dubai.
Say it how you want. Say it how you want. So yes, we're gonna cover hotels. We're gonna cover restaurants, and we're gonna cover things to do in Dubai today. So
Well, you can go ahead and say it how you want to say it, Sahar. We're not gonna.
No, I'm gonna say it. Look, one thing I'm gonna work on this show is the pronunciation of all the things.
We're not gonna get on you.
We understand that English isn't your first language.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Actually, it isn't. When I was born, my parents didn't speak English yet.
See?
So I learned Farsi in the house growing up, and my father always tells me this story, and it gets me kind of choked up. Because when I went to daycare, I still didn't speak English, and he picked me up the first day of daycare.
She's crying, guys.
Yeah, and I was like,
Oh.
I was like boohoo crying, and my dad was like, "What's wrong?" And I didn't speak English well enough to articulate that I wanted water.
Aww.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you were thirsty.
I was just thirsty all day.
But
And
look
I'm
at you now. All the water you
All
could
the water in the world.
all the water you could ever want.
So yeah, so my dad always shares that story with me, and I'm like,
That is the most sentimental moment I've ever had with you in all the years of our friendship.
That's so sad.
I didn't even know you cried. I didn't know
I'm
your tear
crying
ducts
too.
worked.
They do. Stop
she
it.
ain't crying.
Kelly's never crying. So Kelley, for those of you who are watching us, we have Kelley in the background. For those of us that are just tuning in via audio, you don't know the difference, so it's okay.
You'll hear me. It's good to be back.
Yes, it's good to be back. So yes, my tear ducts work.
Clearly.
They work. And what
I thought they were clogged.
What I don't understand is how could I have not have at least signed to the people in the daycare that I need water?
Because this is you we're talking about.
Like a glass of water. I mean, I was probably only, how old are you when
And you were probably intimidated too in a strange place,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah. My first day, probably. So that's,
They feed you?
I hope so.
Like, where was this place that they sent you with no water?
Water. Oh man.
All right, so it's official.
Okay.
Your tear ducts work.
My tear ducts work.
And English was not your first
And
language.
English was not my first language.
Oh.
So, and here we are. And we're going to talk about Dubai and all the great things about it. What is your favorite thing about Dubai? Because I know that was on our short list of places to chat about.
Oh, I love all things Dubai. Not only is it rich in culture and wealth, but it's also very technologically advanced.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the best time of year to go to Dubai, though, let's start there. Because we don't want people burning up in the summertime.
Yeah, and a lot of places shut down in Dubai during a certain time period. And I could be wrong, so Google this, but I think the time period where it starts to become too hot starts around June.
Mm-hmm.
June, July, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they kind of stays hot until September.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Maybe.
this is wings or not, but I've seen people specifically go in the hot off season because they want like
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper
Yeah.
a cheaper trip. But
Yeah.
you're gonna burn and pass away.
It's like 120 degrees. Or
Yeah,
something.
Only
Like,
that,
it's
but a lot of the
insane.
places can't open because they physically just can't be outside.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of places in the Middle East, and this is speaking from experience of living in Iran for a little bit, in the middle of the day, they shut down for a couple hours because a lot of
Really?
Yeah, I don't think this is much of an issue with the AC in Dubai, but I think culturally it's just carried over where like in Iran, a lot of places don't have air conditioning. So in the middle of the day when it's burning up, they're like, all right, we're going to shut down for a few hours. Everyone goes home, they eat a heavy lunch, take a nap, and then come back. And
We need more of that over here. in
we
the
do.
States.
The work-life balance in a lot of other countries, I think, is a lot better than what it is here in the States, for sure, 1,000%. So a lot of places aren't even open because it's even too hot to be outside, period.
That makes sense. I was very shocked at the things that they could do. I got there a day after the whole flooding thing.
So what time of year was that? Because that,
That situation was rare.
that situation is, I've never heard of anything like that happening in Dubai because it's a desert. It's usually pretty dry out there.
I went in April,
Okay.
and they, I guess, had what they said, like days worth of rain came in a few hours. And so all of the airlines shut down because the airports were flooded, the runways were flooded, and then the roads were flooded, so people couldn't commute to or from the airport, so they had to shut down. But we flew Emirates, and I had some friends that were going, also not with me, but they just happened to be going at the same time, and they were flying Qatar. Emirates opened back up because it's owned by the country,
Right.
the Emiratis.
Yeah.
So they made sure that their airline and, what do you call it, their terminal
Right.
pumped out all the water. But the machines they had pumping out this water was insane. Like, I'm talking, they were pumping it out at like mass speed. It was just,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know where they pumped it to. It's a great question.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they were able to get it back open, and so I flew in the day after all of the floods.
Got it.
I was actually really nervous to go because the way social media made it seem, the whole city was underwater, like the lost city of
Yeah.
Atlantis.
Social media
Yeah.
will really pump something.
It
Yeah,
up.
they
wasn't
will.
that.
They will.
I'm sure they had a lot of water, but they remedied it. That was fine. Once we got there, our terminal was open from the airport, and we were able to commute fine to our hotel.
We're certain people, they're like, okay, I'm ready to get rid of this car. And they purposely let it sit out in the rain so it floods so they can claim it with insurance.
Damn, people do that?
People do that a lot. People do that a ton.
So
Like
think
if you
that
wanted to
happened
get
in
rid of
Dubai?
if you wanted to get rid of a car, like, and you know a flood is coming, wouldn't you
crazy.
park it on the street and
No,
just
that's illegal. I don't do illegal things.
you know what? Don't fake for the camera.
Just saying, it's called insurance fraud.
You would forget that the flood is coming and you would happen to leave it
Okay.
outside.
Okay. Deal.
Yeah. No one's doing that intentionally. Of course,
Of course not.
Of course not. All right. So where did you stay?
So we actually stayed at the Atlantis Royale, which is the newer Atlantis. It is somewhat next door to the original Atlantis, and they do have somewhat of a connection, I think, from like
Which
the
one
beach.
did Beyonce sing at?
The
in her
Atlantis
Atlantis
Royale.
In her kitten heels.
And do you know, the whole time
Was
all
there
I
a
kept thinking
problem?
was
Was
Beyonce
there-
walked here, Beyonce stood here, Beyonce sang here. In my brain, I just kept saying it over
Which
and
one did
over.
Beyonce breathe in?
I don't know, but I just thought, was Beyonce in this room? Did she eat this? Did she drink this? It was all of my thoughts. It consumes me.
Yeah. That was a pretty grand opening that they did.
Yeah.
They did, but you know, it worked because that's why I stayed there. I remember when they did the grand opening, not only was it Beyonce, but we saw like the grand opening of Nobu there and all the different celebrities that came to party, and it just looked beautiful. And it was. Like, that hotel literally lives up to its expectation,
yeah.
its name, yeah. It's amazing.
Would you stay there again, or would you try somewhere new?
I don't think I would stay anywhere else.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Wow.
It's
So-
hands down the best hotel I've ever stayed at.
Is that the only reason like ever?
Ever.
Ever.
Mm-hmm. But you have to figure,
That's
it's
some
brand
strong
new.
words, Janeen.
No, I'm serious. Now, there are certain hotels I've stayed in other countries, like in Europe, where they're really nice because they're boutique and they're cute and they culturally make you feel good. But I'm talking, this was like lavish. It was amazing. And their rooftop is a pool, and it's called, I think, Cloud 22. It's the best rooftop pool I've ever seen. It like overlooks the ocean and has all of these like huge, I don't know how to explain it. It's like sponsored by Dolce & Gabbana. Like everything in Dubai is over the top.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is. Everything they do is definitely over the top.
top.
It's
Yeah.
definitely over the top. So when I went to Dubai, it was the first Atlantis resort that was there. And that was like the new thing. I stayed at the Burj Khalifa. There's an Armani Hotel there.
I went there for lunch.
Yes.
I went there for lunch.
So that hotel has amazing views. And I was actually super impressed. And when I went there, we're talking about 10 years ago. And the technology that they had in the room back then.
You're so vintage.
Yeah.
She
I
is.
guess.
Like
Do
everything.
I take that as a compliment?
No, like Sahar. Let me explain. And I
Or
always
not.
say this. Everything you own is vintage. All of your stories are vintage. Your
Janeen
experiences are
says
vintage.
the same thing to me. She's like, oh my God, your stuff is so old. And I'd be like,
No, but I mean it in the most like respectful way. Like you guys lived a whole life before I even got out of high school. Like, you did. Like
Here we go. That's like the biggest backhand compliment ever in life. But okay.
no, it's not. It's not saying that you're old. But literally, when you guys tell stories, I'll be like, wait, y'all did what? When? Literally, Kelley will be like, yeah, I went to the such and such party in '98.
Right.
I'll be like, what?
But to our defense, we were like 18.
Find me at the dinner party.
Yeah, we were like 18, 19-year-olds like in these streets doing like the parties that the grown folks were doing at a very young age.
With all the designer handbags. And so now they're considered vintage.
they are.
So you want to Dubai 10 years ago is pretty vintage.
I guess so. Is it? I feel like people were going to Dubai 10 years ago.
I'm sure they
like
were,
one
but
foot.
I wasn't. Dubai,
Dubai.
she said.
Oh, damn. Okay, we're going to correct my pronunciation on the show at some point. I promise.
Dubai.
Okay.
But the Armani Hotel was super, super new. For those who aren't familiar, the Burj Khalifa is literally the tallest building in the world right now. At the moment, they're building something else that's going to be taller, but it's super pretty in there. And the technology was, for that time, I felt was super advanced. Like you could open the door, I think, with your phone or something.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
that's
10 years
impressive.
ago. Yeah, like do all the curtains. Everything had like, it was basically an iPad in there that controlled everything. I was like, oh, this
That's cool for back then.
is
Yeah.
this is nice. And it felt like you were staying in a Tom Ford store.
Because it was
Imagine-
Armani.
Yeah, like if you walked in, you know that smoky, dreamy.
Yeah.
I don't walk into the Armani store that often to know that like, oh, that's what the Armani store feels like. But I know what the Tom Ford store feels like, and that's what it felt like to me, like vintage Tom Ford.
Yeah, I had lunch there. I didn't get a chance to see like the hotel part of it. Because and you correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also like a business building in there.
Yeah,
They
it's
have
like-
this
it's-
office building
it's-
in there,
Yeah,
right?
the hotel is only like floors 8 to like 36.
Okay.
And it's 165
Yeah,
stories
so
or something
the restaurant is like at the top. And so as you come in, you kind of go through the business offices, check in or whatever.
So the only other hotel I considered was they have a Bulgari Resort.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's new. Like I went and mock planned a trip. Like if I'm going to Dubai today, where would I go? And obviously, I know.
Not the whole room. Laughs.
Look, this is what I do. I plan trips. Nobody's complaining when they're on these amazing trips.
That's
And
not what
don't
we're,
know why we're laughing.
That's not what we're laughing at.
Dubai.
Oh man,
That's not what we're laughing
I'm gonna fix it. Dubai.
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 Do.
Do.
at. Do you want to do it?
We want to do it.
You wanna do it.
Dubai. All right. So the only if I was mock planning a trip, and the other place I saw that I liked was the Bulgari Resort.
I didn't see that one. So that sounds really nice.
You can buy something in there. It only costs you $3 million.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
the caviar side.
the caviar side.
that wasn't
Only
in my
$3 million.
budget.
Only $3 million. They want $3,700 a
What,
square
Janeen?
foot.
That's pocket change to
That's
you,
pocket
honey.
change to Janeen.
Honey.
It
Sauce
really
to
is.
a boss. $3 million.
dollars.
Nothing.
Hey, but they're really, really pretty, and they go up to I think like 12 million or something like that.
Ooh.
Would you buy a vacation property in Dubai?
Honestly, I would move to Dubai right now.
Really?
Really?
I would live there.
Huh.
Really?
today. I really enjoyed how safe it was. I don't know if you know this.
Is it safe or is it borderline a little strict?
It's both.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel strict. It wasn't one of those places where you felt like everyone was watching you consistently. It's not that. I think that people are genuinely obviously afraid to commit a crime, but also they just respect the country and the values so much they don't do it. Because obviously also you commit a small crime, the punishment is a bit more extreme, but I could respect that. I mean, like, I had a driver that was telling me that if you're found in their country with drugs on you, it's automatically life in prison. So people don't do drugs.
So I don't believe that there's nobody in Dubai doing drugs.
I mean, if they do, they obviously have learned how to maneuver, but it's not a common thing. He actually said to me, he was asking where we were from, and I said, oh, I'm from Baltimore, but no one ever knows what Baltimore is. So I had to say, right outside of Washington, D.C. And he goes, oh, I heard you guys have zombies.
Zombies.
Zombies. I was so confused.
Why, yes, we do.
And then it hit me. He meant junkies.
Oh.
They look like zombies to them.
Okay,
They
got
to them, that's a foreign concept. There are no homeless people. There are no drug addicts. It's just not a thing.
That sounds nice.
So I ate at a restaurant that the views were the Burj Khalifa. It was called C'est La Vie.
So we have that on our list to talk about today.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's great that you went there to eat.
One side of it was like the restaurant. The other side of it was kind of like a lounge area. So once you finish eating, you could go over to the lounge and just have like drinks. And so my waitress said, hey, if you want to go over there, let me just save you a seat before it gets too crowded. So she says, can I take your purse and sit it in the seat? And I was like, no. And she goes, no, it's fine. Give me your bag and I'll put it over there in the seat so that we hold your table. And I was like, no.
Right.
And she couldn't understand. And then again, it dawned on me, oh, people don't steal purses here. Why not? Why wouldn't I just give you my bag to sit over there? I did not give it to her. But in her mind, it was a foreign concept.
What kind of bag was it?
Chanel.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah. But it was a foreign concept for her.
So did you feel like you wanted to be naked and you had to be covered up in certain areas?
It's interesting because I did feel that way, but I think that was my own personal insecurity because a lot of the tourists weren't fully clothed. They had on tank tops and bathing suits or whatever, but obviously the Emiratis and the people that live there, they were covered. But it's also a Muslim culture, so even people that weren't from Dubai but came from other local areas, they were fully covered. So I did just kind of feel like it was inappropriate at times to kind of just walk around.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I do believe if you're in a foreign country that you should kind of be mindful of what their traditions are and be respectful of that. So
We've gotten put out of places in the Caribbean for not being dressed right. On multiple occasions. Yes.
That's the Caribbean, though.
Multiple occasions?
Yes.
On the Caribbean.
Curacao, it just happened to me in Mexico. They were like, y'all can't come here dressed like that.
Oh, yeah, I do remember in Curacao,
They put us out.
Yeah, we were at breakfast. Now, mind you, breakfast is like pretty much on the beach.
Yeah.
And we were in bathing suits and cover-ups. And when we were going inside to get food, they were like, oh, no, you can't come inside like that.
Well, that's typical culture for anywhere other than Miami. Miami is the only place where you can walk around
naked?
in a bathing suit, naked. You can go in any restaurant with a cover-up. But everywhere else will say no beach clothes inside.
But you're on the beach having breakfast. Why can't I be in my bikini?
on the beach. Yeah, I can understand
It was on the beach and they had a buffet inside. Literally,
that.
if I walk 2 feet over, there's sand. And all of a
So
sudden
that's silly, yeah.
It's silly.
We went to a beach club.
It was a thong bikini though.
But it makes
This
you
was a
feel
long time ago, so.
crazy.
A thong bikini.
But it still had a cover up on.
All right, you just keep adding details that explain why this didn't work out in your favor.
We were in a thong. What?
What do you mean? What
problem?
is a bikini? My coochie was covered. Sorry.
At one point in Dubai, we went to a beach club. It was like a restaurant beach club. And inside was a really nice, it was called Namos. It was inside the Four Seasons
Oh, they
hotel.
have Namos everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, they have Namos
Namos
everywhere.
and Mykonos. And
Yeah.
So they have Namos in Dubai, but it was in the Four Seasons hotel. So the restaurant part was really nice. And then you go outside and there was a Dior pop-up, kind of like the one in Capri. And then you could sit and eat and drink, smoke hookah, because hookah's everywhere in Dubai. And there were a lot of women kind of walking around in their bathing suits. And I could feel the uncomfortableness of the local women. Like it just, I think it was uncomfortable because they were literally fully covered, and then there were other women that would have on, like you said, a thong bikini and a bra top, walking past, you know,
someone who's fully covered.
Yeah.
But you're at a beach club.
You're at a beach club.
You're at a beach club. And you're at a resort, so you know it's a lot of foreigners who might not understand the, you know, religion and the customs.
Correct.
I know when I went, I definitely dressed a little bit more on the conservative side. Like even going to the mall, I was like, let me just be mindful that I am still in a Muslim country and not draw extra attention to myself. But when I was at the resort, obviously it was like, okay, I'm at a resort. I think there's different expectations when you're on property ground.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess there's so many tourists going there now that maybe. But you know what I will say? The women who are completely covered up, man, their faces beat to a T.
Really?
Their handbags. Because think about it.
That's all you can
express
yourself with.
That's all you can express yourself with is your face. So their makeup would always be super on point. The handbags super on point, and the jewelry, like
tons of jewelry, and they would always have like an expensive shoe under it. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, because it's hard. Like if you're completely covered up, how else do you express yourself?
Yeah, I picked up on that too.
Yeah. Did you go to Abu Dhabi?
I did not go to. I didn't leave Dubai. I didn't have enough time. It's so much to do there.
Yeah.
And
Weren't
I was
you
only
gone
there
for like a week.
I had 7 days, and in those 7 days,
and that wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't even 7. It may have been 6. But you got to figure 1 day is travel. So I did plan really well with the travel. I made sure that we did an overnight flight so that I could sleep the whole time, wake up, get there. By the time we got to the hotel, it was maybe noon, if that, maybe an 11 noon. So I still had a whole day ahead of me. But you still kind of lose a day in travel.
Yeah.
And then there's just so much to do. So 3-4 days in, you've only seen half the city, and then.
All right, I have one question, and then I want to talk about the things you did while you were there.
Okay.
We know you flew Emirates.
Yes.
Did you fly business or coach?
I flew business, but not first.
Oh.
I flew business. There's a big difference between their first class and their business class. Business was, I guess, what we would equate to first class here in the U.S.
Okay.
So it was, you know, a lay-down seat, your own little bubble. It was nice. First class was a different world. They had their own room on the plane. Like, it was a separate room from where we were. They had these big, like, pods, I guess. And in their pods, they had showers. They had beds.
Each person had
I think
their own shower?
If the shower wasn't in their pod, they had their own shower in that room of the plane. But they had showers, for sure. They were drinking Opus One. That was their, like, free wine that they got. They had caviar service.
Caviar service.
Oh, my God. We got to get on that flight.
They had caviar service, and I don't even know what their meals were, but it wasn't what we had in business.
Which was, I'm sure, still extremely nice.
It was nice.
It was still probably super good.
Yeah, first class, they really did it up for them.
Do you remember the price difference between first and business?
No, but I always book my travel through American Express.
Right.
So
Shout out to Amex.
Shout out to Amex. So I literally booked with my Amex points. I couldn't even tell you what my flight cost.
You used the points. Got it. Okay.
Got to work those points.
Man, you got to work the points. Yeah. You got to work the points.
For sure.
So what activities did you do there?
So the first day, I don't even.
What was your favorite? Let's talk about your favorite activity there. Like if somebody's going to
Okay.
Dubai,
I want to know how the sandy stuff was, where y'all were like
in the sand.
So it's funny you say that.
Skiing on the sand.
Because that's twofold, but that was my favorite part. I like the desert. I was terrified initially because we did the ATVs through the desert. I'm not a daredevil ATV type of girl. So I was the passenger. I let my husband drive. They scare you to death before you even started. They talk about how you could flip the car, you could slide on it was a lot. So
it's fun though. I did that. It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Not the same, but we did it in
I didn't enjoy it. It was too much sand flying in your face, in your clothes. You're hot and sticky.
Yeah.
The sand is sticking to you. And I dressed really cute because I thought.
She was ready for the pictures.
I was ready for the pictures. I looked on Instagram and I saw all the things the girls were doing in the desert. And I was like, I want that shot. So I'm dressed really cute. I have on makeup. And then I sweated it all off on ATVs and sand. I didn't like that.
But I think the difference too is Dubai, the hills are so steep.
The hills are steep.
So when you're doing the ATVs, you're going. There's times where you're almost
hitting
like,
it, yeah.
it's almost like you're completely vertical at times too.
Well, let me tell you what I learned. So the deserts in Dubai are basically the bottom of the ocean many years ago. So it used to be water. It
Precipitated. We're learning our words on this
right
podcast.
either.
No, precipitation is when the water comes down.
not right
Evaporated.
Evaporated. Sorry. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? That's the game we're playing.
Evaporated. And now all of this sand and all of that is literally just the bottom of what used to be the ocean. So there's these huge mountains and it's dry coral reef, which I would have never thought. But that's
How do we know that for a fact, though?
Archaeologists.
Oh, that's what they said? Okay.
It's pink, and they've tested it. It's pink coral, like reef coral.
Oh, wow.
And I asked them, like, well, how long ago? And they say it dates back to like biblical times.
I love facts like this.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was really into it.
There's this note. They also, did you do the thing where they're like in the SUV and they take you like on, it's almost like a roller coaster ride in an SUV. They take you up and down these sand dunes.
No, I was exposed to all the elements in an ATV. And I did not enjoy it.
So you didn't bother with the Yeah, they had us in like one of those like Range Rovers where there's like the steel bars above your head too.
So that's what I thought we were doing. Hence why I dressed the way that I did. We got there and my husband was like, Jinx. No, gotcha.
Well, y'all looked really nice in the pictures. We'll cut some in.
So there's two parts. So that was the first like maybe 2 hours. And then they were Land Rovers that came and picked us up.
Okay.
And then you took the Land Rover to another desert. On the way to the desert, we stopped. We got full guards.
Yeah.
We got full guards, head wrap, all of that. And then we continued on to the desert. And this is where was my favorite part. So we did a full like tour inside of the Land Rover. So first they taught us how to like tie it and put it on me. Then we kind of rode around and they gave us like a tour of the desert, all the like actual wildlife that lived there. So there were camels and they looked like sheep, but they weren't sheep.
What?
But it looked like sheep. There were antelopes. There were giraffes.
Was it an emu? Does that look like a sheep?
Were they in the wild or was this like a...
They were in the wild, but what I realized was that they were also protected.
Okay.
It was like
a reserve.
Yeah, so that they didn't become in danger, you know. But that was nice. And then from there, they took us to like you could get out of the Land Rover, and then you could like do the snowboarding, but it's not snow. Sandboarding.
Yeah.
Sandboarding. I didn't do that either. Had no desire.
Chris
The sand
did it,
was
though,
very
right?
hot.
Chris did it though, right?
Chris did it.
Did he like it?
He loved it, but the sand was very hot.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It's not,
Yeah.
you look too cute for that.
Yes. Then we left there, and we rode camels through the desert. That was great too, because now the sun is setting. And then we did a falcon show, and they showed us like the falcons and how they like fly and chase food in the desert. And then from there, they took us to yurts, so like tents with AC. And
Tents with AC.
Tents with AC.
We're glamping.
And we had a dinner there. They had like a light show with women dancing, and then they did henna, and I got henna.
But glamping is like a thing. That part of the day sounds amazing to me.
It was amazing. I loved all of it.
I like that part.
That sounds like a long day.
It was very long.
But they have a bunch of glamping there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it looks so cool. Like they have different styles too, and they're all obviously in the desert.
Yeah.
But they have ones where you can stay in the tent. They have ones where you can be underneath the stars and it's like a glass top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Super cool.
I would do that for one night. I could handle that for one night, have cocktails with the girls. Like, I don't think that's something I would want to do with my spouse. Like, that's not really like, I don't know, romantic. But it seems like it would be fun as a girls trip. No, because with your spouse, you're kind of, how do I say this without being offensive?
No, be offensive. It's okay.
Sometimes it can be boring, right? Like you've been together forever.
Chris,
you live
boring.
together. I'm not
Keep
saying
that edit in.
no.
Chris, no.
I don't mean it like that. Like, listen,
that sometimes
I don't mean marriage is boring, and I don't mean traveling.
You just think your husband is boring sometimes.
I'm not saying that.
Let's talk
Listen,
about it.
I know what you mean.
Thank you, Ashley. I just mean that you spend every waking moment of your life with this person. So when you're locked in like a secluded space, it's kind of like, what do we do now? Whereas if it's your girlfriends, you catching up on life, you hearing about their dating stories, you're drinking. It's more of a thing.
Who has better dating stories, me or Sahar?
Well, you, because Sahar never tells dating stories. Ever.
I'll tell dating stories.
All right, you should add that as a little like segment.
Segment?
Yes.
Tell a dating story.
Sahar's dating life.
When I went to Dubai, he was my boyfriend, but I guess it's a
dating story.
It's a dating story.
Tell us about it.
He wanted to stay with a friend in Dubai, and I was like I rolled my eyes, but I was just going with it. I mean, that'd be difficult. We stayed with his friend there, like the first couple nights. He had a beautiful place. I don't think this was, and like his place was really nice, but there was no outlets in my bathroom.
And you couldn't do
I
what?
couldn't, my hair was straight. I was like, this is not gonna work.
You couldn't do what?
I couldn't flat iron my hair.
You couldn't do it in the bedroom?
No, there was no mirror.
Oh.
Like it was it was like.
I understand.
Yeah, it was.
You got those.
I understand.
It was a thing. So we checked into the
Armani Hotel.
The Armani Hotel.
So Janeen, I would love to hear about all the amazing food you ate in Dubai.
Yeah.
I ordered us the viral chocolate bar from Dubai on TikTok.
What is this? I had never heard about
A viral chocolate bar?
Yeah, it's got pistachio paste on the inside, so it's
How
like
is it viral? Because you sent that in a group chat, and I had never heard or seen. Wait, we're doing a what with
a
it?
mukbang with it.
A mudbang?
Mukbang.
Where you eat the food all sexually into the camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not actually sexual. Wouldn't call it that, but
anyway, so speaking of this chocolate bar, I would love to hear about the amazing food you ate.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, what I will say is that Dubai can be somewhat Americanized or Westernized.
Really?
So the food wasn't much different. It was amazing food, but it wasn't much different. They had Mediterranean food, which is
But do you think that's
great.
But do you think that's because when we go to certain places, we're going to certain restaurants, and had you probably veered off the beaten path maybe and tried like the more local spots, it would be a little bit different?
I think that for sure that could have been the case, but it was so heavily dominated with restaurants that were like, for example, there were tons of sushi restaurants. There were tons of Persian restaurants though.
Yeah.
They were amazing. So to me, that was the closest I got to like eating the local food. They had Nobu. They had Namos, like I said. So it was very American. The C'est La Vie, that I shouldn't call it American. It was just food that we're used to eating.
That we're used to eating. So it wasn't anything it wasn't anything different than we're used to.
No, they had steakhouses, and everything was the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I went.
So you said C'est La Vie was good?
C'est La Vie was good.
Where else do they have a C'est La Vie?
I don't know. That was the only one I've been to, but I have heard of it. So I feel like maybe there are others. But C'est La Vie was great because it has the view of the Burj Khalifa.
Right.
And they set up actually like photo moments. C'est La Vie was great. The food was really good, but more so the views where I think why people really go. Because it's beautiful and you can take pictures. And they set up like Instagrammable moments.
Shareable moments.
Yeah. Where you can take your picture and see the Burj Khalifa.
What's the one restaurant you say you would have to, like, a must-do of all the restaurants you tried while you were out there?
I really enjoyed Billionaire. And again, it's not exclusive to Dubai. They have one in Monaco and a few other cities. But I enjoyed it because it was dinner and a show. And the show was very good. They had different acts that would continue to come on. And it was almost like the Olympics, kind of. Like they would do all types of
Olympics?
Gymnasts. They would do all types of flips.
Like a Cirque du Soleil.
Like
kind of like Cirque. Yes. But then they also would do like seductive ones.
Analogy.
Thank you. But they would also do like seductive ones. So they would do like striptease, kind of, where they weren't naked.
Yeah,
Show us. Demonstrate a little bit.
Absolutely not.
Show us.
Absolutely not.
If you're listening, go to YouTube now. You can watch the Show Us.
No, I will not. But it reminds me of Kelley. Do you remember?
I thought you were going to stop me, Kelly. I thought she was gonna. Sorry,
I was gonna
I thought
say.
she was gonna say that reminds me of Kelly. Like, girl, what are you doing? on the
No.
side?
Kelly and I had dinner one night, and we brought the kids with us, and we went to what's it called? Monarch in Baltimore,
It was a whole.
and it was a peep show, but we didn't know.
You took the kids to a
The
peep
kid-
show.
yes.
Well, they told us the kids weren't allowed, but we brought the kids anyway.
So they told you kids aren't allowed. You took the kids anyways to a peep show.
we did.
Just
Yeah.
want the audience. To
We
know.
didn't know it was a peep show, obviously.
Where
so
those,
the kids
where
left.
those people?
The kids left. Yes. We stayed, but the kids
Oh,
left.
would you put them in an Uber and make them leave?
No, the husband took them.
Oh,
Yeah.
He took them home. It was very inappropriate.
wow.
But it was similar to that, like dancing and seduction. And
Yeah.
It was really good. But the food was amazing.
Nice.
And it had a DJ that would DJ in between the different shows.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rank Dubai?
Oh.
On 10 is a must do, and 1 is don't bother going.
I think that it's really hard, and here's why. I know that for me, it was a 10. But I can't say it's a 10 for everyone because people travel for different reasons. Some people really travel for culture and experiences. That's not Dubai. Because again, it has all the same things you could do in LA or Miami, right? But it was an experience that I really enjoyed. So for me, it was a 10. But for others, it may
Might
not
not
be.
be.
Yeah,
It's
it
okay
depends
to
on
be a
why
10.
you're traveling.
It's
On
okay
it.
to be a 10.
It
Yeah.
was a 10 for me. I loved it.
Okay.
But it was definitely given Rodeo Drive.
And we know Janeen likes Rodeo Drive.
It was given that, but safer.
She's like, if I'm Caviar, she's like, I'm like the entry level
Sahar,
Caviar.
let's not get carried away.
I'm the entry level Caviar. She's the top tier Caspian Sea.
I'm Asteria, or you call
yeah.
it? Lies. Everything
Yeah.
I learned from you.
Me too.
That's what she said.
You took me to my first Ramoa store.
Oh yeah. So did you get away with just a carry-on?
Absolutely not. No, I had a whole full trunk of clothing. 7 days, and
Oh,
you
you
have
took
to
the
have
trunk.
day and night, and then it's so hot, you're changing multiple times. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I had a trunk.
All right. What we're gonna have to do too, because I think it'll be a great supplement to having this Dubai episode, is doing Abu Dhabi. So we'll have to come back and do Abu Dhabi.
I just think it's funny that she never knows what we're laughing at.
Okay, they're laughing at the way I say Dubai. I'm gonna fix it eventually.
We'll get there.
It
We'll
works
get
We'll
there.
get there.
We're a
we
work
know
in
that I
progress.
pronounce everything wrong here. Dubai should be one that I get right. But
It should.
It should be.
Of all the places.
Of all the places. Of all the places.
It's fine.
Yeah. Because I do want to, when we talk about Abu Dhabi, when we come back and do that episode, I do want to actually lean into and talk more about just the tradition and like why the women are covered up. You know, I actually had to live that way for a little bit of my life when I lived over there. So
When the morality police got you?
yeah, they almost arrested me.
Morality police?
So in Iran, I lived for the audience. I lived in Iran for a little bit.
How long?
In my teens. I spent a year there when I was 13, and then I went back there for 2 summers. So when you go, like literally as you're about to land, they let you know, like, okay, we're about to land. They cut off all alcohol service because there's no alcohol in Iran, period, unless it's, black market.
Like moonshine.
Yeah, moonshine.
There's
basically,
no
yeah.
alcohol at all.
No, so it's such a
Why
we're
do people wanna
gonna
live like
do a
that?
whole Iran episode because it deserves its own episode because there's so much to talk about. Like it's so different than everything else. There's no alcohol at all, and if you notice in Dubai, there's a lot of places that don't serve alcohol.
The mall. There's no alcohol.
Yeah,
in the
there's
mall.
no alcohol. They really cater to the tourists when it comes to alcohol, and the other places it's a lot of hookah, but
A
you
lot.
want a lot of hookah.
And this is because of the Muslim culture.
The Muslim
you do not
culture,
drink.
you're not supposed to drink. So you're not supposed to do shellfish, you're not supposed to drink, and you're supposed to be covered up. And you're covered up because a man isn't supposed to lust for you, and by showing your hair and your body, that creates the desire for the man to lust for you. And that's a big reason why a lot of the women are covered.
Can I ask one last question before we move on? How do men know what the woman looks like before they marry her?
So
You don't know?
once you're inside the house, you take the traditional garments off.
So a man can see you in the home.
In the home.
Even if you're not his wife.
Even if you're not his wife.
Oh, okay.
Like if you go, that's why like in Iran, for example, they do like a lot of house parties rather than going out to eat. Because think about it. When you go out to eat, there's no alcohol, there's no Western music, it's all like religious music or instrumentals, that's it, that's all they have. But if you go to someone's house, they'll have all the music, they'll have the alcohol, you can take the garments off and you can really kind of like let loose and just like really be yourself.
Do you have pictures of this 13-year-old you that was covered in your
I have to dig them up.
Because that would be really great for the audience. I really want to see 13-year-old Sahar.
Sahar covered up.
Yeah.
I think it's why I'm always naked now, because I had to be covered up. And my dad was super strict growing up. So, Dad, this is all your fault. He watches the show from Iran, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, he's like, we watch every episode.
I love that.
And they give commentary, like, that outfit, you should lean a little bit more in. Like, yo, literally. They commented on Kelley's New York episode that just aired. They're like, oh my God, her boobs though. You guys are such classy ladies. All those boobs.
Put your boobs away.
Like my mom was like, they look like if she were to just sneeze, they would come falling out. You guys gotta go watch the New York episode to see what we're talking about.
Is that what Mommy said?
That's what Mommy said.
At this size, popping out is not a thing. That's for smaller boobs, you know? So.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're gonna have a whole episode on Iran. We'll talk about it more, but I think we've got a lot of we talked about the hotels, we talked about some great food, we talked about things to do. There's plenty to do in Dubai. When we talk about Abu Dhabi, I'm gonna be excited to talk about F1.
We gotta go to that.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a lot going on in that region in general that's encouraging tourism and Western culture in a place that's predominantly been a lot more reserved and a lot more like leaning into the religion that's opening up a little bit more. And we're gonna take a trip out there. Let me tell you, Saudi is on my list.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Saudi is on my list.
I'm going.
Okay.
They have some places that look really cool there, so I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so before we leave you, where are you going next?
Turks and Caicos.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Easy, relax, chill.
What's the occasion?
My anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. So I thank you.
Thank you. I mean, hopefully your husband won't be boring on this trip.
Well, I'm going to be boring on this trip. So. And my husband is not boring.
No, he's
Please.
definitely not.
All right. Clip in what she said 15 minutes ago. Just saying. Chris isn't going to watch this episode anyway. Right? He's too busy. Maybe not.
Once he
we'll
finds
find
out
Once
that-
he finds
that
out, we'll
he was
know.
boring.
He's like, oh, y'all think I'm boring. He's going to be quick in the group chat. Like, really? That's what you guys are going to get on camera and say about me? Okay. All right. Thank you for coming. Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.